What I want people to really know about World War II is that we saved America and the world from a tyrant, both in Germany and Japan. You know, if we hadn't won the war, we could have been speaking German or Japanese today. So that meant a lot to me to make sure that we kept this country free. I was born on November the 1st, 1925 in Kansas City, Missouri. And in 1930, my dad bought a farm at Platte City, and we moved to Platte City. Graduated in 1943 and I joined the Army in January 1944. It was after they had landed in France on an invasion, so they needed more soldiers. I only have one eye. I was born with one eye, but the Army didn't care. They were looking for bodies. Can't remember the first camp. It was in Joplin, Missouri, Signal Corps. Then they sent me to Camp Gruber, Oklahoma, which is an infantry training center. They put me in 42nd Rainbow Division. The Rainbow Division was started in World War I by General MacArthur. If you look at history of World War I, you'll see that the Rainbow Division was a leading outfit that helped win the war. Trained me as a Jeep driver and a machine gunner, and we was there until November of '44. In November of '44, they put us on a troop train. We went back through Kansas City. We actually went through the Union Station on the way to Camp Kilmer, New Jersey. From there, they put us on a boat, USS Benneville. I landed at Marseille, France, right around the 1st of December of '44. I unpacked my Jeep, and sometime around the 15th of December '44, we started driving north out of Marseille, France. We were put on the front line, and I was in a little town called Sessenheim. And we were there for 2 weeks holding that town. And in December, around the 27th and 28th, the Germans made a push, which is now called the Battle of the Bulge. We couldn't believe it because we were not equipped to handle an invasion by Germany. We only had small arms rifles, and we didn't even have a bazooka, which could knock out tanks. And they were sending trained troops from the SS division, plus had tanks. We couldn't stand up to the tanks with small arms fire. And the lieutenant talked to some German. They said, if you don't give up, we're going to knock the house down and with you all inside it. So we gave up. And they lined us up out in the field on the east side of Sessenheim, a little field. It must have been 75, 100 that they had captured along the front line. And they had a tank sitting out there in front watching us. We'd heard that they had not been taking prisoners, had been shooting them. So somebody, I don't know who it was and never did know, or never will know, broke the ranks and started running. And they opened fire, and I got hit with a shell in the back of my head. Just went by. And they finally rounded us all up again and put us in a barn, sheep barn. It smelled like sheep too. The next day they brought in a barge and took us across the river, and we ended up in an area called Baden-Baden. All this time we had no food, no water. They marched us over to Stuttgart and put us on 48 boxcars to take us to our camp. It was on that boxcar for 7 days. It had no toilet. We had to use a bucket for toilet. Now they ended up in a little town called Fallenwasser, and that is where Stalag 11B is. We were in army-like barracks with wooden bunks and straw for mattresses and one blanket. We had no heat, no running water, no bathroom. To go to the bathroom, you had to go out to an open trench in the back barracks. Zero weather, snowing, raining. And they finally fed us it was rutabaga soup. Rutabagas is a turnip, a round yellow turnip that tastes terrible. But it finally got to tasting good after there for a while. And black bread that was made with sawdust. This went on for February, March, April, and May, around the 1st or 2nd of May, the British liberated that camp. And they just came in with their tanks and rolled over the fence, and we were free to roam the country. And in that little town, there was a couple warehouses full of food. We gouged ourselves and got sick. But after about a week, they put us on an airplane and flew us over to London, England. And being wounded, I was put in the 91st General Hospital near Piccadilly Circus in London. I was in London for about 30 days before they put us on a boat and shipped us home. Since we weren't fully recovered, they took a train from Kilmer, New Jersey to Hot Springs, Arkansas. And the Army had taken over a hotel there. They used that as a rehab center. We were so weak, we didn't do much, just went to movies and stayed close to the hotel. Around the 1st of November, they shipped me to Cheyenne, Wyoming. It was Fort Warren, Wyoming. We were free to go to town and went to many USO functions, dances, had great parties. We were all pretty much back to normal, so we were enjoying ourselves. But on November the 25th, 1945, they discharged me and gave me my honorable discharge and a bus fare home. And I got home around December the 1st, 1945, and was back as a civilian. It really vexed me that I could really do what I did in the war and still live. A lot of people didn't survive World War II. After the war, I did several things in my career, and I ended up doing accounting mostly. 58 and 59, I was working for a Chevrolet dealership called Class & Moore Chevrolet on Southwest Boulevard as their office manager. And Bonnie was working with GMAC, which finances for General Motors dealers. We got to talking on the phone, and I set up a meeting with her, and we started dating early 59. And we decided we should get married, but she wasn't 21 yet, so I had to wait till she became 21 in January of 1960. And we got married in February 1960. Had 3 children, Karen, Kevin, and Chris. We have 5 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. I don't know what a person would do without a family to take care of them. Marley was my friend, the cat. We got him in 2005, and I was really kind of depressed. But Marley came into our home for both Bonnie and I. Really enjoyed him. He's my friend. He follows me around, sits in my lap. He's really a great friend. When I was discharged in 45, the following year in 46, somebody from the Legion, American Legion Post 370, contacted me and wanted me to join the American Legion. I've been in the American Legion for 68 years. About 20 years after that, the VFW contacted me, Post 846, and I joined that. The 48 is an organization of American Legion officers, and I got real active in the 48, and in fact, I have a book when I was Chef de Gare for the state of Kansas. One of the members presented me with a big gavel, about 3 feet long, and I still have that hanging in the basement. It meant a lot to me to serve for the Army. The biggest thing to be proud of would be that this country is still America and still free, where you can say what you want to say and not be put in prison for it. How lucky can you be at 89 to survive World War II and a prisoner of war in Germany for 272 days? It's a great feeling to have your children around you and your grandchildren.